Hello friends, welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. I was really just sitting around going through some cool cards this morning, just getting some hobby time, some chill time in, and I was realizing that I have 24 that are kind of in this box of kind of bigger cards. They're all oversized but barely oversized. They're not the 8x10 kind of size, they're not the big premiums. They're still reasonably sized items that you can put into a standard shoebox and lay them on their side and store them pretty easily. They're not as hard for display. They won't go in a case, of course, but they're kind of all within that scope. So I just thought I'd share them. What the heck, right? So it's 24. They're all ungraded, which I think is somewhat unique to collectors these days. To send these in 24, I sent them to SGC and they didn't charge me for anything massive oversized, and they were all just $15. That's still $360, which will pick you up probably one of the nicer ones I'm showing you, or maybe 4 of these, 3 of these, 2 of these, I don't know. Not all of them. That won't buy necessarily a couple of them, but a lot of these you can pick up for that. So I just thought I'd run through them, and that's one of the reasons I don't grade, is I'd rather have 2 or 3 more really cool cards. And these are my PC. I think everyone that says it's easier to sell at the end, and when it's time for your heirs to worry about your collection. To me, I could set aside some thousands of dollars and say everything in this box send in and have graded, and then send it off to auction XYZ. And yeah, it's one extra step, but in the meantime, I can collect a few more cards and enjoy my collection. So that's part of my mindset. All right. That's morbid. Let's dive into some fun stuff. Ozzie Smith, Family Fun Center. How cool is that? Mine's not graded. Look how cool that is, though. First year in majors. That's a 78. Fun is that? You didn't have a year of play yet, so pretty cool. I'm going to stick with all the kind of post-war, but not in any thematic order, and then I'll go with all the pre-war stuff. Campanella, that 58 Bell Brands. I know not everybody loves it, but for me, cool set. And for me, part of it's just the rare uniqueness of it. Color scheme, yeah. Has a 91 Fleer vibe for some people, like the Fleer yellow that is offensive, and this green that is pretty gosh darn bold is pretty tough. But also think about this, it's a 58 Campanella. 57 tops is kind of your last main issue, right? Without having the tribute card that was made. So I think a 58 Campanella checks an extra box for that reason. If you're looking for oversized, cannot emphasize enough, Spic and Span, you're going to get a range of different size options. Some will get bigger, some are more like 5x7s and 8x10 kind of realm. And then really within that area you can get Wilson and Rawlings and all these other sideways manufactured things. But look at these images you get. So to get something mid-50s, Spic and Span, Warren Spahn, for me, these images, Spahn, look at his shoe, that's insane. How cool. And it's a legit postcard. So that tells you what size it is. Love it. Super cool. All right, next. This thing was cut too close, but they're all hand cut, so for me, I know it's real. It's a 59 Bazooka Hank Aaron. It was trimmed too close. Let's grade it at home. It's an A. I get nothing by sending that in, so I know it's an A, and I'm going to keep it. I know I enjoy it. We're good. So that's where my mind goes. It's got some damage to it too. These are tough though. These are really tough. So 59 Bazooka Hank Aaron. Happy to have that. That is a fantastic Hank Aaron image. Youthful Hank is always a good image. Let's go cons. So first one's a 63. It is a rough 63. But cons, I feel like almost feel more, I don't know, right with the world when they're rough. They're hot dog cards. Like, I mean, when they're being distributed, you know, to not see stains on it's almost disappointing. For it to be handled and creased and whatever else, like, that's a survivor story. You know, the story of that card making it is cool. And, yeah, it's all creased to heck if you want to be critical. But the image is still good. It's just a loved copy. And I will say, of all of the Clemente images, I think that's one of the best. I've been really trying to do this more in my videos lately, to really just zoom in on the details. I mean, look, you get, you know, even the jerseys in that era were fantastic. And we got hot dog staining, it's awesome. But you get the stats on the back. These write-ups are even crazy. Born in Puerto Rico. Single at this point? I don't know when he got married. I'm not sure. Alright, let's keep... I've got 4 cons that are in this big box of mine. This one's like shockingly expensive and tough. And honestly, this entire video is why you shouldn't trust pop reports. Because a lot of these cards, when you pull the pop report, will show that there's not many, you know, 20, 30, 50, whatever. I'm showing you 24 ungraded cards today. So please use the pop report as a baseline. Use it as a little bit of a gauge. But no, there's goofballs out there. They're selling to me, and I'm going to continue the trend of not grading them. Mini Minoso. It's a 59 cons. If you're not familiar, do yourself a favor, get yourself a 59 cons. Pause this, read that. The Mini Minoso write-up. I've got a couple 59s, I think, and like the write-up on the back is always about as good as the image on the front. The image on the front is amazing. So, super awesome Minoso. Alright. What year is this? Doesn't show. Almost positive it's 58. Is it 57? Might be 57. So I have to double check that. I know I have both 58 and 57. One's in a slab, one's not. And this era, they tend to have a lot of times somewhat similar images. So Frank Robinson, I think I've got 4 or 5 different cons of Frank Robinson at this point. And when you get too early, so I showed you 59, super cool, 63, like legit card, that's blank back. So I don't get the advantage of cheating and knowing my year. Yeah, call me out. It's 57 or 58. It's an early one. Definitely rookie era. But I have 57 and 58. And then this one I've shown a few times, the big gun for Frank. One of the coolest Frank items. That's a 56, so that's a year before his Topps rookie. I'm not sure there's other 56 Frank Robinsons, period. So maybe that's his real rookie, except the fact there's only, you know, whatever, 40 or 50 of them or something like that. So there's not enough of these floating around to call it a rookie, because that would mean nobody has a rookie card. So we just tend to consider it something different. The regional issues, I guess a lot of people will say can't be a rookie. That's why I usually use the words a rookie and not the rookie, because to me, you don't have to have one rookie card, and if it's a modern card, there's 174 rookie cards, and I don't grasp that either. So next up, let's go with another rookie, but a rookie postcard, the 67 team issue postcards. Really neat. This is a cool option if you're looking for something that's not just, the Topps standard option. So jump in, grab yourself a postcard, a little oversized. Super cool image of Seaver. What's neat is you actually have back variations on this. This one's the Tom Seaver with Mets logo option. It's an illusion. Nah, I have two of them. The reason I have two is I'm crazy. No, the reason I have two is this one has, somebody taped it up. They really love that one. Tom Seaver, no logo. I'm not crazy. I don't do that on every card, but when you're talking a 67 Seaver, it's kind of cool to get both versions, right? All right, that's it for my post-war era. So let's go pre-war. We will jump in with somewhat new to the collection, Hank Greenberg. So the wide pens, what is it, R314? I'm doing my R series kind of review of some of the R300s. I've not done the R314 yet. Fantastic card. Very reasonable. These go for maybe a little more than his 39 play ball, but what a super cool image. This is the one I keep joking with. It's somebody wrote on it and said it's 1 cent. It's hard to get. And it was pretty hard to get. And then they put it in a album somewhere along the lines, it looks like. Got this classic corners paper loss. But fantastic. And a good deal. And I actually enjoy writing on the back. You find that throughout my collection. Pinholes don't bother me. Writing on the back, for me, a lot of times makes my card unique. Talk about, somebody steals your card, they crack it out of the slab. It's hard to track. I don't know, I guess they can erase that or write more on it, but like, you'll know that's my card. This one's super cool. This is the fine pen, so this is R313. And you've got Mickey Cochran on the right, you got Al Simmons in the middle, and you got Jimmy Fox misspelled on the left. I share this one regularly because this is one of the greatest bargains. 3 Hall of Famers. That thing almost didn't go in my big box because it's not that expensive. But it's still an amazing item, so I said, let's put it there. And they noted that Boston Red Sox, they're probably collecting that for the Jimmy Fox, because the other two guys I don't think played for the Red Sox ever. So they must be Jimmy Fox collectors. This is one I picked up from a friend. The scope of my ungraded Oversized. It's a little bit bigger card, so it goes in my big box. It's one of the original pickups from Larry. So my Hank Greenberg with Bill Dickey, double down. You can get 2 Hall of Famers, 1 card in action like that for that era. Pretty fantastic. Greenberg doubles, Dickey catching. Back has some marks and some staining. Cool card. Next is one of my absolute favorite cards, period. End of story, end of statement. These pastels, I always call them the watercolor set. So R312, you get Connie Mack and Lefty Grove together. Amazing image. One of my favorite cards. End of story, period. Love it. They're out there. They're not impossible to find. Wait for the right deal, because there's enough of them you don't have to jump. and overpay. But there's not millions either. Next up, I think, is R315. I realized I only had one, so I think this is my second one. So when I get to that video finally, I kind of like to get a third maybe if I can. I always feel like 3 is when I can represent the set, but I am kind of a low-key Al Simmons collector. His full first name is an old Polish name, and it's actually the same first name as my dad, so that's a draw. He played for the White Sox. That's a draw, and he's highly underrated. Take a look at his career stats. His career average, he had some power. Doubles were crazy good most years. He had some seasons with some solid home runs. Big RBI guy. I mean, man, legit, high-performing Hall of Famer. He's not like a borderline guy. So, absolutely fantastic career. Al Simmons, these sets, R315s tend to be cut really rough often. You don't always find these in good shape. And actually the printing, a lot of them have major lines going through. And this one does have some lines going through it too. I don't know what the heck they were doing. It's one of the few things I criticize about that set. A lot of them you'll see lines, and sometimes it's going through like their face and different stuff. So it's not always great, but I love that part. Cool item, and blank back, so nothing fun on the back. Let's jump to, let's go Kashin. I have two Kashins that I keep in this box. You know, Ruth Gehrig, they'd be slabbed and put somewhere else, but kind of the next tier, got a really cool Jimmy Fox. My Gaudy collectors, that image looked familiar. So, super cool to get it as an image. Again, I love getting in close on these, because I can actually get them closer on these videos than I probably can appreciate them in person, because at some point you're zooming in so much on yourself, and you're like holding it to your face. But even stuff like that. Signature, Jimmy with a Y, I mean, come on. What's this, amateur hour? Don't do that. These are blank backs, so nothing fun there. Fantastic image. Next guy, same thing. Super cool. That Melot image is wonderful. Talk about youthful. I mean, he started playing in the majors when he was, what, 12? No, I think he was like 17, though. He was really young. New York National League. Melvin. Great image. And these are 29. So if you're thinking about like rookie era, rookie age cards, that's pretty darn close. Really Fox too. He's got a couple things before that, but that's, you know, several years before the Gaudis. Gaudis 33, 34 that we think of for those. So 33 would be the first Gaudi. Those are 29s. The next one, I think this is 37. I need to label the back of these. These 4-in-1 exhibits, I think, are really neat. Look at who you get on that. Is that Gus Mancuso? Amazing. Now you get Bill Terry, you get Carl Hubbell, you get Mel Ott. Boom. And that's still barely a triple-digit card. Isn't that crazy? Go for the value. You get 3 Hall of Famers. Great images, too. Really, if you just zoom in and appreciate it for the images. Look how great that is. So, blank backs. Nothing fun there. This next one is crazy. I picked this up from a well-known dealer. He mentioned he had it when I picked up a different card of Lefty Grove, and he said, I'm working on getting this thing available. Would you be interested? I said, sure. He said, I'll give you first dibs. So he shot me the price he'd be asking. I said, well, it's, you know, high side of fair. He said, I can send it out there, and if no one buys it, it might go for less. And I said, I'll just take it. These come up every so often. If they're high grade, they're some bucks. It's a 1929. The coloring is insane, right? So this one actually has color added, unfortunately. So down there they did like fill in. I don't know if it had some chipping or what was going on, but so you know, it's an A. Why send it in for grading? There's no reason to slab it to get an A for me. But look at the collection of players you get, and it's just, to me, you get one representative of it. You know, now I can say I have this set. It's this crazy red. Look who's on there. Jimmy Fox. Almost spelled right. Who's next to him? Gordon. Mickey Cochran. You got the George Haas. And you got Lefty Grove. 3 out of 4 Hall of Famers. That's a cool card for me. All right, down to 5. The next 2 kind of pair together nicely because he is tough to collect because there's just not a lot out there for him. So I'm going to go with my Grape Nuts Dizzy Dean. That was shockingly not very expensive. Amazing image. Look how cool that is. Get to win with Dizzy Dean. Super cool. So these are like mid-30s. You get the premiums. A little redemption book talking about how you can win things. So you get the Dizzy Dean image on the front. Because it's more of a booklet than it is just a card, they tend to go for a great deal. And this next one is also a mid-30s kind of post-Gaudy issue. It's that service station one. I've shown that a time or two. That's a fairly big card, but it's impossible to comp. These are usually in really rough shape. There's a few that are nicer out there that exist. There's obviously some ungraded ones because I have one, and there's not a whole lot of them graded. They're a pretty low population item, so it's one you don't see a whole lot of on, you know, YouTube videos, or if you walk into a show, even Strongsville, I bet you don't see that. It's a tough item. I was thrilled that popped up. These are the things that make me jump. When I see something pop up and there aren't comps for it, there aren't alternative options, that's when I say, okay, it's time to get that one. Pretty darn cool, right? And pretty darn good shape. Cool Dizzy Dean piece. All right, last 3. I'm going to go out with my Pennants. So my 1916. These are awesome. They're just so cool. Every time I show the Pennants, people are like, that's neat. That's something different. They're out there. Go on, you know, eBay, check them out. A lot of them on eBay are probably overpriced. People don't really necessarily want to move them, so if you're going to buy it there, they're going to charge you a premium. See them come for auction, jump. I saw a couple at Strongsville. Some were very fair priced and good deals, and others were a little on the high side, unfortunately. Had a friend pick one up that was a big card, big item. And also, you know, I had one that I was targeting a little bit, but it wasn't really in my price range, unfortunately. They were asking a little more than I was thinking was fair. But getting an Eddie Collins like this, it's the same image as your M101-4 and 5s. So the little image you get on that thing is really almost like a little mini card. And then the pennant with it is just phenomenal. So some of these will actually have like tags on the back, which is really neat. I don't have any with the tags, but Eddie Collins is neat. And then the next 2, I just showed these again in another video as well. No no tags in the back, nothing there. I don't know that I can get them both on the stand at the same time. That didn't work. But it's double down on the George Sisler, so it's considered a Sisler rookie, essentially. These are 1916-ish. M101 4 and 5 would be considered a rookie for Sisler. And these go for decent dollars, but nowhere near what an M101 4 or 5 goes for. I would say more like a third, less than a half. But what's neat is you can get these in like 5 or 6 different colors. So I've got 3 colors of Sislers. There was a 4th at Strongsville that was just, it was a couple $100 too much, so it wasn't like it was super close. If it was $50, I might have said, yeah, who cares? But you're talking hundreds of dollars, like that's not gonna be what I'm gonna jump for. So I'll put that one back because I think that's just one of the newer cool ones. But that's it. That is 24 slightly oversized. Slightly bigger than you're used to. How about that for a way to explain it? Items that are all ungraded sitting in one of my boxes just labeled as like really cool cards, kind of big cards. So I do keep them separated for sorting sake and knowing where they're at sake. But it's kind of fun to see all these ungraded from anything in the, what, up to the late 70s, all the way back to 1916. So that's what I got. I always ask questions in my videos kind of towards the end. Do you all send everything in for grading? Would you grade these? 24 times 15 is, what, $360 plus shipping plus insurance, so you're talking $400. For me, that scores me probably 2 or 3 more of these if I wanted to. Not quite going to get the Dizzy Dean that's on screen right now, but you could definitely pick up more than a couple of these and be pretty happy with some new additions to your collection. So how do you collect? Do you grade everything? And do you like these? Are these in your wheelhouse or not? So I will catch up with y'all on the next video. Take care.